Hello YouTube, welcome to another video and another bike. This is a 2017 Ninja 300 I just picked up on Friday. I really didn't plan to go in and buy a motorcycle. I was down in Lawton for work last week on Wednesday and just happened to pop into the Lawton Motorsports down there. I got to talking to one of the sales guys about the 2017 Ninja 300s, saying they were making some pretty good deals on them now that the Ninja 400 is out. So I haggled with them a little bit and got an even better deal. I'm not getting rid of the R3. That one is staying. This is going to be my wife's. Probably going to be selling her scooter as much as I don't want to. I like having that thing around, it's a lot of fun. But I don't have room in the garage for 2 cars and 3 bikes. So something is going to have to go, unfortunately. While I was at the dealer, I also picked myself up a new jacket they had on clearance. It is a Cortec Adrenaline perforated leather jacket. That's awesome. I like it a lot. Got it for 70 bucks. It retails for $349, so really couldn't pass that up. And they had just my size as well. I actually recorded a video riding home from Lawton on it. But it's not really worth posting. I was so mad. It was so windy. I was getting blown all over the place. It was probably the least fun I've ever had on a motorcycle. I'm riding it again. I decided since the weather was finally nice, I had to take it out and try to get some cool shots of it right around sunset. So I got some pictures I think turned out pretty good. So just some quick thoughts about this bike after riding it about 150 miles now. I definitely do not regret my decision to get the R3 over this for one reason, and one reason alone, and that is the comfort. I've got pretty long legs, and the R3 has a little bit taller seat. It's definitely more comfortable. Apart from that, not a lot separates the two. Performance feels pretty similar. Handling is pretty similar. The R3 has a gear indicator where the Ninja 300 does not. Honestly, not a deal breaker though. I think for a beginner rider, it's kind of a trade-off. You lose the gear indicator, but you get the slipper clutch. Brakes might be a little bit better on the Ninja, just slightly. Haven't really put them to the test, but they feel like they have a little bit more bite. The clutch feel is different. It grabs way out. Not really something that you can adjust without getting aftermarket levers. Coming from a different bike, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Now, if you've never ridden before, you're probably not going to notice the difference. Comfort level is pretty similar to the R3. There's maybe a little bit more room to move around back and forward on it. Seat was comfortable enough for about a 120-mile ride home. I did start a little bit numb, but that's probably going to be true for me on almost any bike. It's not bad on the highway. It's got pretty good wind protection. Really comes down to if you're in the market for a beginner bike or a small displacement bike, I wouldn't really say one is better than the other, unless there's something that just puts you off one of them. You don't like the look of it, or you gotta have the slipper clutch, or you gotta have the gear indicator. Or in my case, you want the R3 because it's just slightly more comfortable for a taller person. There's not a lot between the two, so I would say keep your options open. Keep your eyes peeled and grab whichever one you can get the better deal on. If you're in the market for a beginner bike and don't care that the Ninja 400 is out now, then honestly now's a good time if you're looking to buy brand new to look at the 300. Probably get some pretty good deals on it like I did. Well, this is a horrible road. You know, there's a lot of people that'll say don't buy new when you're buying your first bike, but honestly, unless you're buying something that's just really old, there's not that many great deals, not that I've seen anyway, on slightly used 300s. People value them way too much and try to get almost everything they paid for out of them. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when I see like 2008, 2009 Ninja 250s and people want $3,000 for them 10 years later, and it seems like if you do find one that's got a lower price on it, it's been laid down. I mean, I guess if you just assume you're gonna crash, then yeah, get one that's already been wrecked. I've seen used Ninja 300s for what I paid for this one. I also had a little bit different situation than most people, where I didn't buy my 300 or this one even as a learner bike. I don't intend to sell it on all that quickly. I mean, I've had my R3 for 2 years and I'm still perfectly happy with it. I've gone and test ridden some other stuff and think, oh yeah, this is an awesome bike, I gotta have this. And then I get on the R3 to ride home and I'm like, nah, I really don't need anything more. Ugh. It's plenty of bike. It's got plenty of power, it handles well, it's fun, it's light. It does everything I need it to do. So I'm sitting here cruising along at an indicated 80 miles an hour anyway, and it's just fine. It's just under 9,000 RPM, which on a little bike like this, that's no big deal. They're kind of happy in that rev range. Now, I'm not sure I'd want to do cross country on a Ninja 300 or an R3, but I don't know, it might be fun. I might actually want to do that, but it's not the ideal bike for it. I would not be surprised if this bike ends up getting modified a lot more than the R3. My wife already, day one, peeled the graphics off the side because she didn't like them. We also took the yellow reflectors off the front fender. They looked pretty terrible. She's found a taillight she wants for it, the integrated taillight from TSC Industries. Probably end up buying a fender eliminator from them as well. She really likes the white, but wants to add a little bit of color to it. So probably the plastic bits that are black now will end up getting painted. I think we'll powder coat the wheels to match. Exhaust, I'm not so sure about. I haven't heard a whole lot of exhausts on 300s that I like. That Street Slayer that Modonosity put on his R3 project sounds pretty good in the videos. I haven't heard one in person though, to really judge it fairly. But all the 300s I've heard in person that have aftermarket exhaust, I think they sound awful. It's just kind of reminiscent of high school days when everybody's putting really loud exhausts on their base model Civics. It doesn't make it sound like a fast bike, it just sounds like a loud, slow bike. Clutchless upshifts on this thing are super smooth. Nice. Moto Guzzi V7. I really like those. Still think I'll have that kind of bike one day. I really like this bike a lot. Now, as far as the looks, this versus the R3, I don't think I could pick a favorite. R3s in general, I think, look better. However, the Ninja in white, there's something about a white sport bike. It looks so good.